Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler DeSantis, and this is my YouTube channel. So I'm about to tell you guys some really profound shit. I even drew a card from my tarot deck, and it gave me the Hierophant, which this bitch is wisdom. We have matching crowns. Okay? So anyways, this is the pattern to everything. So everyone who told me I was fucking retarded, here's to you, bitch. So listen, you have fucking... The pattern to the world is the infinity symbol, period. Now let me explain it to you. If a star explodes, right, you get two sides. If an atom explodes, you get these two smoke clouds on each end, which everything looks like this when it explodes. This is the Big Bang. This is how the world was made, the Earth, but the fucking universe. Anywhere you want to put it, this is what it is, okay? So you have these two sides, but these two sides wouldn't be good and bad, because when a star explodes, it explodes like poles. This would be the north, this would be the south, or the east, west, whatever the fuck pole you want to make it, blue, red, whatever. So these two poles would be like black and white. People want to make them good and bad, but they're not good and bad. Good and bad is here. Good's up here, and bad's here. But heaven is here, and hell is here. Hell. But hell is just another kingdom. It's not, God says, like, I made the earth and then I made the heavens. There's more than one heaven, okay? So, technically, what we think of as hell isn't hell. It's like this middle ground or whatever. But it's not over here, it's here. There's a middle place, too. That's like this prison planet or limbo or whatever you want to call it. That's where we're at. We're not in the earth yet. We're under the earth, I think. But I'm almost 99.9% positive. Let me explain it to you. Okay, so we're in this like little prison planet. So we can go up to Earth. And then these three heavens. 1, 2, 3. Or you can go down to hell. Okay? Because you either go up or you go down. But since we are in the zodiac and we're stuck on this loop of time, the zodiac literally translates to circle of animals. So technically, we're just animals. We got blessed with some, like, God shit in us, because I think the fucking gods fucked us. But because the jump from Homo erectus to Homo sapien is too fast in time. There's no, like, evolution doesn't add up with us. It adds up with everything else and us up into Homo sapien. And Homo sapiens literally translates to wisdom. So evolution and God are true. We were created and we were evolving, both simultaneously. You don't have to pick one or the other. We can go the middle route, which is technically what you're supposed to do with most things, except like if you had good up here and bad down here and black over here and white over here, black would be the knowledge of like knowledge gained through experience. These would be like outliers in society. They would be like who people deem as like the black sheep, but the black sheep are actually the good people, but people want to call them the bad people because we go against society. But society is wrong here, because if heaven is all light, here would be mostly darkness. When the Archangel Michael like goes through this like 2-week period or some shit, like fighting against fucking some shit to get to the other side of, anyway, he had to go through this middle land. The middle land is where we are. We are in darkness, even though people want to pretend that they're in light. They're not. You go from here to here, but this middle gap is us. So here's darkness. So hell is technically in the middle, or this prison planet, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it tells you in the Bible that. So here is good and here is good. But they're not good and bad. They're like different sides. Do you want to be a rebel, or do you want to just walk the straight path? Neither is bad. It's whatever you prefer. But you gain more insight and knowledge from this side, actually experiencing things, being out there. But you might be kind of bitter at the world. So it's like you have to kind of like, it's all about balance. So, okay. Even Plato has a chart like this about true knowledge and true understanding. But anyways, there would be the good people up here, the bad people who are like evil people, murderers, child rapists, shit like that. Fucking people who lower than low. Okay, over here is what I put over here. White side, the goody two-shoes motherfuckers. And over here is like the black side, the rebels, artists, whatever the fuck. So we probably start out here. You might start out here, but I'm trying to go over here. Like up, and this is where I'm trying to go. But I think these people have more knowledge overall, because knowledge is power technically, but you don't want to abuse your power. But you know what I'm saying? This is what the Illuminati has done. But what did you say?
Like the mirror effect.
Oh, okay, yeah. So she was talking about like, it's like a mirror effect. Like, I guess, like if you look at your eyeballs, okay, like if you looked at like how an eyeball sees things, an eyeball would see things like this way and this way. It would be like,
it flips into the back
and
of your
then
head.
flips and then comes back, or like it flips the image and then comes back and then flips again. That's literally how everything is. That's how you get this pattern of this fucking infinity symbol. Because literally how your eyes flip things is this fucking infinity symbol. But the infinity symbol is also, this is where the star would be. This is where we are. And that's why you have that chart that I just made. So, like, where do you want to be, like, on this chart? Like, here's the chart. You know what I'm saying? So, where do you want to be? Okay. So, this pattern follows everything so hard, okay? Because it goes like this. So even at the hospital, you have a staff with 2 snakes going up it like this, and when you reach enlightenment, you gain your wings. That's on the hospitals, okay? It's put on our ambulances, everything. Now, these 2 fucking serpents that raise up your spine, that's the Kundalini energy that's in your body. That's on your body level. Now, on your DNA level, it would be your DNAs going up. Like, so think of it as like 2 serpents rising like this. And it's going like around, like, you're going around like all the way. Like, I can't do a full circle. I'm stuck in here. But you know what I'm saying? If I kept going around like this, it would still spin. We would be spiraling out with the universe. You're literally helping create the universe. You're literally expanding with the fucking universe. Like, it's not that, like, so everything's going up. Everything looks like a tornado or a vortex, but not one vortex, okay? There's 2. Because if you would have this pattern, this little thing right here, what does it look like? An hourglass, because a day is like a fucking hour, and an hour is like 1,000 years in heaven or some shit, right? Because one side is smaller than the other. So this is where you get the giants and elves from. So one side, hold on. So each of these would be 2 fucking tornado-looking things, or vortexes. Your chakras in your body, vortexes. How your chakras line up, you could line your chakras up next to the planets and what the planets look like in space. Boom, it's going to lay directly on them and be exact. Anything you want to find out, look at it from a bigger or smaller level. It's like as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything is manifested with this pattern. Now, when you go to heaven, and heaven is an actual place you can get to from this realm if they allow you to go there, okay? And that's why people want to think that heaven's some invisible fucking place and that it doesn't exist and that it's just all made up. No, that's bullshit. It's an actual place. There's actual portals in the fucking earth. You can look at the fucking Gate of the Gods. This guy dreamt about it before he even seen it for years. When he got there, he said, listen, you put a chip in this spot, and that's how you open it or whatever. But the portals have been shut off. Just like in Thor, you have rainbow bridges, and they broke the rainbow bridge. The rainbow bridge is synonymous with Jesus' forgiveness. When Jesus you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find this place in yourself. It's inside of you. You have to activate your light bodies and your Merkabas and your things that are going to help you when the end of the world comes. Because the end of the world is coming when the poles shift. Because there's not 2 poles, there's 4 poles, okay? They lie to us. So the earth kind of looks like this, right? It would be 2 hamburger buns almost. Because we never see lower earth, or we don't see the lower half of the earth. We only see the upper half. That's why people think it's flat. And to prove this, you can go look at a long exposure of the stars. They always go like this. They're like a rotating disc. The fucking sun and the moon would be clock hands. If you looked at the earth like a big flat disc, because it literally is, it's a disc that is spiraling. Okay, but the stars don't move. They stay in the same place, basically. It would be like, they would be an actual circle. They wouldn't be an infinity.
Oh, really?
They would just, it literally would be like, if we was sitting in a rotating restaurant and the ceiling, it would be like the ceiling was rotating.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a long exposure will show you that these stars never move. They're fixed stars. Some of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you can see that star from here and Hong Kong all at the same time, then that proves that we're only seeing the upper half of flat Earth. But it's not flat Earth. It's actually toroidal Earth. Because a toroidal shape is this, they would be the two infinity symbols, okay? So basically it would be like this. The pattern would go like this. Like, hold on. Do you have a darker marker? That one works. Okay, so like when you do acid or something, you always feel like you're puking, shitting yourself, and fucking like sucking in everything and pushing everything out at the same time. It's like karmic, you're not really doing that, but you feel like it. You want to eat everything, you want to fucking take everything in and push everything out at the same time. Like, it's fucking weird. But it's like that, somebody told me once it was like having a baby. I don't have any babies, but anyways, it's like that karmic recycling. It's like your body recycling this energy, because energy never dies, okay? So then you'd have these two. Okay, so this is what the Earth really looks like. One might be inside of the other one, but it's confusing to think about. So, but that would be like, it would be two circles. It would be like this. But these would be like the infinity symbol here. But then it'd also loop into this. That's why Hitler had this fucking symbol, right? He had this fucking swastika or whatever. The swastika is not what people think it is. Oh, I did that backwards. And this is going to be really hard for a lot of people to take in, but you've been programmed to believe that Hitler was a bad guy, and that all this shit is bullshit, and that he really killed the Jews. Well, if you're a Jew dying in a concentration camp, you don't really have a lot of time to worry about who Hitler is. He's not really like the celebrity of your choice at that time. You know what I'm saying? So if you have this swastika or whatever, did I do that right? This is for the four poles of the Earth or whatever. This is for the black sun. Because okay, if you had a star and it exploded, you'd still have this star, but it exploded into these two other things. But the original one was whole before. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, this sun right here would be a black sun. It would be like Saturn, Chronos, time. It would be the old sun, okay? It would be this, or it could be, like the star Sirius birthed our sun. Both of those are a possibility. Then you'd have our sun and our moon, okay? But the moon is not a luminary, period. The moon is just a reflection of the sun's light, supposedly. But the sun and the stars are both luminaries. So then that would make the moon the original source. You see what I'm saying? Supposedly. But the moon, I don't believe is real. So the black sun has to be in the center of the universe, right? So the center of the universe is at this smaller place, was at this the fucking lower half of the Earth that we don't see. But you know where we do see it? In Alaska, or like, is that the North or the South Pole? Is that the North Pole? But it would be flip-flopped, but it's confusing. But where the green lights in Alaska are, the Aurora Borealis, those green lights come from Sophia, the black sun. They come from the green light. The green light, like your heart chakra. Everything would align with green. Like, I don't know, like Jesus went to the fucking, he put rainbows in the sky and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus to me, he leaped over stuff. He seems like a leprechaun to me. That's just me, though. Or an elf. Y'all can think I'm crazy. I don't give a fuck. This is some profound shit. But, whatever. They really fucked me up when I said an elf last time. Like, this guy made this shit up. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. But, anyways. And too, like, here's just some notes that I wrote. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the song where it's like, what's this song called? It's like Mirror in the Sky, What is Love?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you know that song.
I do.
I think so. I'm not gonna sing it.
You have me thinking about everything. Like the elf thing, like, you know, rainbows never end.
Yeah, you always find in the leprechaun he finds this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So it's like, in the tarot, there's like double lines of like yellow or maybe it's green. But anyways, it had double lines where So I think the green is significant for your heart chakra, because that's, and my favorite color was green when I was a kid, and I'm like, all this shit aligns. The only reason I'm making this video is because I had a spiritual awakening a year ago, and I've sat and studied this whole shit since then, and I haven't really found the words to get it all out here, but this is a start. So
this is like, this explains it perfectly, I think.
So I don't know. So yeah, like I said with that, we're in the valley of the shadow of death, because you only come here to die. There's nothing to look forward to except death. So it's like, you're not getting life from here. Everyone's dead. Everybody's a computer program. The way we think of death is one way, but think if you was from somewhere else and you was thinking of death, we might be in the, not, when you get to the center of an atom, there's nothing there, right? There's nothing there.
Right.
Even in the middle of a God particle, there's nothing there. So that would mean we're just air. That would mean everything that was here is just thoughts. Everything really is thoughts or vibrations. Because God is the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So God was a vibration or a sound vibration. And when you vibrate sand on a fucking piece of paper or something, it will turn into people shapes. It will be harmonious. It will be mandala. It will eventually turn into a person-looking shape if you got the right thing. Because we're symmetrical just like everything. But,
Wow.
So the bird is the word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Birds and angels, they both have wings. Like, the bird is the word. Like, you fucking speak something, it comes into existence. So you need to watch your mouth. That's like your double-edged sword. Whatever you think, your thoughts create your, like, vibrations in your throat, and then they manifest into words. And then when you do something in the material world, like a spell or a ritual or something, that puts it on the material plane, and then it's easier to manifest. That's why, like, Jim Carrey wrote himself a check 10 years earlier and then cashed a check for $1 million 10 years later on that exact day. That's why Rev Run wrote a fucking letter to the people he bought their house and then was like, here, I'm gonna buy your house one day, lady, and put it in their mailbox. It's like, you have to do things that on a physical plane that are going to help you manifest. Everything's made up of this vibration. So if they're back to the original point, I went on a tangent, but there's nothing in the center of an atom, okay? So if there's nothing in the center of an atom, then that means this is all this vibrational reality or a dream reality. It's like a dream inside of a dream. One dreamer and all the people or whatever are also dreaming. So it's like we're individuals, but not. And that God had to hide himself from you. You know what I'm saying? God had to hide it.
That's where the conscious comes from.
Yeah. So God had to hide himself from us, and that's why we're beheaded for the testimony of Jesus Christ. You lost your pineal gland. You forgot who you was.
Taylor, you're freaking out.
No, that's why we're in the valley of the shadow of death, because we're in a shadow. Everyone's sleeping. Everyone's really holy, and we're all the same thing. People just need to wake up, because I believe that we're on the light side of the moon, not the dark side of the moon, but we want to go to the dark side of the moon. That's why, because the dark, black sun, moon, whatever. Because a white light comes in and the prism and then makes 7 different variations of this one white light. We're all different variations of God. There's only one God. So people keep splitting God into pieces, casting lots, ripping Jesus' clothes up, making him all different people. And when they kept okay, so they say it's like they kept his undergarments in one piece, but they ripped his clothes up. So they ripped the body of Jesus up, but they kept his clothes, which means they kept his spirit intact. So we're all placing bets on who gets God's spirit, or the ticket to heaven, the golden ticket, whatever you want to say. You get God's spirit, you get to go to heaven, because God gives you his spirit. Does it make sense? Does that make sense?
Too much sense.
So everyone needs to realize, no matter where or what religion you believe, I'm not telling you to believe a new religion. I'm just telling you to understand and accept that every religion is the same religion, and God only wants you to love, do whatever the fuck you're passionate about, not be an asshole, love yourself, but also love other people too. Like, just make the world better than you came in. But love is about self-discipline, so discipline yourself to do better. You don't need to read a book and fucking then pick out what you think it means and then go and fucking be an asshole to people. God never said that. So it's like you have 7 seals, you have 7 deeper meanings of knowledge, you have 7 different colors in a rainbow. Light is knowledge, okay? But this knowledge, it almost has to be gifted to you. It's not something I gave myself. God came to me and channeled me in a vibration in my head. I got channeled by God, period. So people can believe that or not. And then I did the work and studied to make it make sense into words. And then I had just come to realize that everything outside myself is bullshit. Everything outside myself is bullshit. I don't need to read no fucking books. I don't need to go talk to no people. I don't need to do any of that because I've always known in my heart, like, love is the only thing that matters or exists. And when I went back to thinking what God said to me in my head, it was just like, if you can connect with another person and y'all can beam up to God. It was basically like telekinesis or something. That's what I seen in my head.
Yeah, you said it perfect earlier when you were like, the Bible is like written pretty much by like everybody.
Yeah.
Well, like, and it's all about love.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, all the lessons in there.
You gotta,
That's crazy.
When the context of the Bible was written, it was like, these people couldn't even, they had to go talk to somebody in a temple to even speak to God for them. But I'm like, these are people who are channeling this Christ consciousness. If you are part of this Christ consciousness, which everyone is, because we're all copies of the original being, your life will match up with Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, when I had my awakening, which is me getting my spirit from God, because people want to take God out of it when they're spiritual, but if you're spiritual, what fucking spirit are you worshiping? I'll wait. Okay. So when I got my spirit, it was on September 8th. So the Jews tell you when you are reborn in Christ, you have your awakening or whatever. So you can call it a spiritual awakening, you can call it Christ giving you his fucking spirit, but I'm telling you the shit is real. Whatever you want to call it. I don't think it matters what name you call God, because it's manifested in so many ways. Even in Islam, it says like all God's names are beautiful. So whether you call him Yah or Yahshua or whatever, it's all different. But Yah, I think, is like the original. It's the spirit. So there's only the lover, who is the spirit, who manifested the beloved, who is Jesus, or Seth, or whoever, or me, or you, or whoever. When God gives you his spirit, you're his beloved at that time. And forever. Like, it's already predestined. Everyone is. So there's a time for everything. It tells you that in the Bible. A time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to live, a time to die, a time for birth, a time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So all this shit, like, everything makes sense, but people aren't. The science is wrong because they're not including God. And people who are over here with, like, God, they're wrong because they're not including science. We need to look at everything and try to place it on top of each other because it all aligns in the pattern. And the pattern is there because every time you are connected, everything's God one. It has to follow the pattern. But you going to heaven, that's getting out of the pattern. That's Hyperborea, beyond the demiurge. This is the demiurge. This is where you're at because God manifested the beloved, okay? So the beloved is like the aliens. Will you hand me the charger? Yeah. So the aliens created us, which sounds crazy, but Zachariah Sitchin's, it's right here. Zachariah Sitchin's translated these cuneiform tablets, okay? And when he translated these tablets, it talks about the aliens coming down and creating us. So wouldn't that make sense that the Bible makes a lot more sense if you think of it as aliens? Like black smoke came from the heavens. They called the heavens the sky, you know? And even so much as like so there's God who we call God. That's our God. That's the aliens. That's the Anunnaki. That's the serpents. That's the whatever. God tells you in chapter 1 in Genesis, like, he created the great sea creatures first. The serpents. The fucking mermaids. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. We would be mermaid because we would be like half fucking whatever. Half serpent. Half serpent or gods. Half human. And then plus we'd be the Christ consciousness, which is the original God. Like that's spirit. You have spirit who manifested the first, which would be the aliens, and then the aliens created us. So we would be these three different things. You can look at Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a good example because his father is literally the whole fucking planet, right? His father can manifest into people or what was the other thing? People or something else, animals, I don't know. So he can manifest his consciousness anywhere. But they called him ego. That would be kind of like the demiurge. Or this, like, that's why this is like a prison planet.
Oh God, that makes up the trio, the three Adams.
Yeah, or like if you watch Twilight, you have vampires, fucking wolves, and mortals. Everything has three. There's a trinity in every fucking movie. When she has her power is to like protect people. That's what activating your Merkaba will do, your light body. That's what being active in love for yourself and for others will do for you. It gives you this big fucking, it's called a Merkaba, which that's literally what fucking the Star of David is. You have this, right? So you have one that goes down, water, and one that goes up, fire. And Jesus said he's the, what's he say he is? He says he's the first, the last, the beginning, and the end, and all that shit. You could make each one of these things astrology, like 2 signs for each one. So it would be like Aries, blah, 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 Aries, Taurus. But Aries and Taurus would be together because that would be the male and the female. Because everything in the whole entire world has male and female. There's no one without the other. And even energy moves, like 2 things go this way, 2 swirls go this way, and then 1 swirl goes this way. So that's where you would get the off one. So when God manifested okay, so God created, when God created the aliens, right? That actually would not be the beloved. I fucked that up. But the first thing he created were these things, right? Aliens, whatever you want to call it. But then what they created was us. It would be like Adam, Eve, and then, okay, so they would have Seth. Okay, so you have God, and then you'd have Adam and Eve, and then they had Cain and Abel, and then Seth. I would be like Seth, or like Cain. You have some people who are black, some people who are white, and then some people who are of the Christ consciousness, which God begot, or awoken, or he thought about it, so it, boom, it manifested. You know what I'm saying? So the 3rd things, Cain, Abel, and Seth, that's who we are. We're mankind. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah.
We're all made up of, like, what, atoms and atoms?
Yeah, we're Adam. Adam was the first human being, and you have atoms in your body. Aries was the first, the sign of self. You made this into a circle and just split them all, like, you know what I'm saying?
Which goes back to your original diagram.
Right. Adam would be here. Libra would be here. Libra is the doorway to another world. Adam and Eve. Libra is the middle sign, or even the one that's balanced, the scales, even. Adam and Eve. Like,
I'm freaking out.
It's crazy, right? Like, so, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to end this video, but, you know. Also, I just want to say, what's more, like, I was not this fucking smart before God came to me. God literally gave me all the wisdom and made me a genius or something. I'm like, Jimmy Neutron. But I just want to tell you guys, like, God is fucking real. So you have God, and then, but his, like, then you have spirit as well. But they're working with each other. So, like, who people think is Satan is not Satan. He's doing God's work. It's about letting us go through some bullshit and eat shit because we needed to learn a fucking lesson. It's like a parent kicking you out of his house when you're 16 because you want to make your own real money and you realize that fucking life sucks and you want to come home. That's what we're doing. We got kicked out of heaven because we needed to, because God knows you can't appreciate shit unless you've been through it. You had to have the experience. So you keep manifesting here over and over and over and over and over until God comes to you and says, hey, like, okay, you learned your lesson. You're right. Okay, help the others. Here you go. Your goal in life is to find yourself, and that's it. Everything else doesn't matter. Find yourself and do good for the world. That's it. Because as above, so below. So if we're fucking up here, it's fucked up in heaven, I'm sure. But heaven's always mostly light. You know what I'm saying? So if they're mostly light, we're mostly dark. But you have the little, think of like the, what is it? Yin and yang? It's like 2 fish swimming in opposite directions. 2 sea creatures. And the 2 little eyeballs in there would be like either smaller, it would be the smaller, it would be like the Christ consciousness here would be the smaller eyeball that like in that fucking thing. That would be the light. But the black is really the light because it's flip-flopped like your fucking eyes. I don't know. I'm not going to confuse y'all too much, but... It what? Oh, yeah. So it's the same thing with, like, the planets would line with your body, okay? So you have your crown chakra, is your crown here or is it here? I think it's crown, I don't know. I think you have one here. Your throat. Here, your heart. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's 7. There is 7. But 2 of them were split. So if you split 2 of them, it would be your eyeballs and your ears. Because it would be like your face, right? So you'd have these ones would be, it would literally match your face. Everything matches this pattern. So 2 of them got split. Your eyeballs and your ears. So, you see what I'm saying? So that'd be like Saturn and Jupiter. And then Uranus and Neptune. They would be flippy-floppied and they would make this fucking 8 pattern, right? Because you have the gas giants and you'd have the ice giants, fire and ice. We're here in the middle. Like, everything is this hot, cold, black, white, yin, yang. Good, bad. But it's not good and bad. People keep putting good and bad here. Stop putting good and bad here. Good and bad is here. Good is up here. Evil is here. There is no bad. There's no bad. There's only experiences. If you learned a lesson, it's not bad. Eventually, I don't know why other people had to learn harder lessons than people, or people had to do whatever, but even the fucking evil people, God loves. And God not as the God we call God, because if you have a name, you've been named by something. The bigger God, the Spirit, has no name, because nobody named the Spirit, because the Spirit came of itself. So the Spirit manifested God, who's an alien, who created us, who, here we are. And now we are a mixture of God, the Spirit, God, alien, God is the alien, and animals. So, I don't know, that's a pretty dope video.
Yeah,
I think
am I here or am I not?
So, thanks guys. Share, like, subscribe, hit me up on Facebook, whatever. Bye.